Hi, welcome back. My name's Jamie. I'm the founder of Journey Life Now. And this video is for Sagittarius Sun, Moon, and Rising for the month of October 2025. Okay? So, sorry, Sag, October 2025. Right, before we get into the cards, I just want to discuss a few important happenings. We have a full moon in Aries in your 5th house, but this has to do with a new moon that started the solar eclipse in March of this year. Okay. And basically that was in the house of how you love, right? Artistic and romantic expressions, maybe wanting to start, maybe some type of relationship with your children, including your inner child, right? And what that looks like. It also, was asking like maybe starting some new way of like how you seek joy, fun, passion in your life. It's the house of creation, right? Whether it's art or parenting, right? It's the house of creation. It's the house of how you fall in love, flirtation, self-expression, right? So all those things, and wanting to start something along those lines back in March. Well, in June, you came across maybe some type of emotional tension, maybe a choice that you had to make, and it had to do with maybe some type of transformation, some type of death, rebirth, some type of major life change that took place that may have made you question or reevaluate something to do with your 5th house, right? So maybe something along like on what you consider intimacy, right? And kind of where you were at that point and re-evaluating that. Okay, so here we are 6 months later, and now light is being shown, right? The light switch turned on in this part of your life. It's showing you what your hard work for the past 6 months, right, has brought full circle, right? What your efforts have what your efforts have given you, right? And there's some things that you don't like, right? There's some things you want to release. There's some things you found out that you don't like, right? You thought you loved dancing. You no longer feel like you like dancing. Maybe it's something that you had to do because your mom signed you up for it. You don't like it though. Maybe you love drawing, right? And you've discovered that. Maybe you've thought you had this great relationship with your children and come to find out like, no, it needs major work, right? Because when you started talking to your children about your relationship with them, just to seek how it could be improved, you come to find out that there's a lot of things that need to be worked out, right? Taking whatever it is that you love, keeping it, releasing everything else. Maybe the relationship you had with your inner child, right? The light was switched on, and what you seen was a scary, shaking, trembling child in the corner, right? That needed love and healing. And now that's going to start your next journey, right? Some of you found out like you love everything. You love the way you flirt. You love the way you find joy. You love what you create. You're just in love. You're in love with being in love, okay? And there's nothing you need to work out. There's nothing you need to do. This shed lights to that, right? And it's like, great, wonderful, amazing, moving forward, right? In about 3 months, right? There's something else that takes place, but we're going to talk about the next moon, right? Which is a new moon in Libra, and it's in your 11th house. Okay. And your 11th house has to do with friendships. It has to do with your social networks. It has to do with your vision. It has to do with your dreams for the future. It has to do with your connection, right, to groups. it could be your place within the community, right? Not the community itself, but the place that you hold within that community. It can be how you contribute to the bigger cause, right? That's all 11th house. And a lot of other things, but those are it. So now you decide that there's an area in that part of your life that you want to start something new. There's a seed you want to plant. So you decide what it is and then you plant it. Okay. And 3 months later, right, we're looking at the big picture, and now, we're closing the gap, the cycle to this new Aries cycle that started back in March, right? And some of how can I say this? Like some of the areas that allow for closure, I guess, right, in that cycle have to do with your second house. And that has to do with your bank account, your finances, your innate talents, what you find security in, right? So it's coming full circle. So if your fifth house is about creativity, love, and everything else, then you discover that, some of the talents you were born with had to do with the way that you communicate, right? So now you're going to take maybe painting and communication and you're going to marry them together, right? And you're going to see what happens. Okay. And, and it's just a way, again, to merge all these different parts of your life into one. But then during that time as well, it's the quarter moon for the new moon that you started in Libra in your 11th house, right? And again, that has to do with some emotional tension, with some decision, some choice that takes place, right, during that time. So if your 11th house has to do, let's say, with your long-term goals, right? Like your long-term vision, how you contribute to a bigger cause. But let's say that part of it, you wanted to go, I don't know, protest or something. But in order for you to protest, you had to fly, I don't know, across the country, because that was like one of like the topics that you really wanted to stand up for. But you look at your bank account and you're just like, yeah, there's no way, right? Because my bank account does not match what I want to do. Right. So it's about taking that, reevaluating, and getting ready for, the full moon. So basically, that's kind of in a nutshell what happens with the moon cycles, right? And how they kind of just like all go together. So now I'm going to do the cards. Sag, Sun, Moon, Rising for 2025, October. Yeah. 2, 5, yeah, a lot of activity. But one of the things that you're kind of blessed with is the fact that, you're a fire sign, and, the new moon in March was a fire sign, and then the full moon's an air sign. So, it's, don't get me wrong, it's still like, energy has to be put in, but it's a little bit easier for you, So that's always definite, like, plus. Okay. Let's see what other messages you have coming in. Okay. Some messages that you have coming in, my love. Okay. So right now, there's some gossiping going on, right? This month that I'm gonna need you to stay away from, because what might happen is that it causes for some relationships to break, okay? Because of this gossiping, right? So some relationships are shattered. Which hurts, right? Because like a lot of you thought that these, like that, and it might be a group of 3 friends, right? Let's say a group of 3 friends, and you thought these 3 trios were going to be your ride or die, like your whole life, right? Because that's what you thought. And it turns out that they're not. And because of that, there's this devastation that takes place, right? But if you reflect, right? If you reflect and you think about it, you might come to realize that you've been carrying this super heavy load, right? You've been carrying, it's been taxing. And you've wanted to, in a way, release this baggage, right? That you've been carrying around, trying to like be the foundation, right? For this group of friends. And it's been a lot. And from that, there comes this crumbling, right? This shattering, this chaos, right? But out of that, there's truth that comes out, right? In a way, you kind of knew it was coming, but it happens now. Like shit goes kapoof, right? And it happens this month, and that's okay, right? What it's telling you is that protect what you've put all your emotions and hard work into, right? It belongs to you. It's yours. There's nothing wrong with protecting yourself, right? Because if you don't protect yourself, who's going to protect you? Don't expect anybody else to do it, because it doesn't work that way. Okay? There are some of you that end up pregnant if you want, or there's someone pregnant around you. There is this creation, a project, creativity, something in your outside environment that does take place. There's some of you that want to go on this trip, like you want to get away, right? There's some that it's like this heartbreak is making them run or want to run, right? They want to get away because it's so heartbreaking. It's too much. No, don't run away from your problems, because I promise you this is just going to follow, right? That's just what happens. You have to deal with things. We don't want to, but here's the magic. If we deal with it now, we grieve it now, we process it now, we learn from it now, it doesn't carry with us. It doesn't, it doesn't become baggage, right? It does. It has the potential to. You can carry it for another 5 years, or you can deal with it now and release it and not have to deal with it ever again, right? In the form of heaviness and in the form of the lesson repeating itself, because you haven't worked it out. Okay? At the end of the month, if you ask yourself, like, okay, so Jay, like, what is the big deal? Like what is this month about, right? It's about finding that inner strength, courage, right, to understand your emotional body and your physical body and your mind, having control of your mind, of yourself, of your inner self, knowing that you yourself create your own reality, your own world, right? And nobody else creates it for you. You can wake up in the morning and think life is absolutely amazing and wonderful, right? You can wake up in the morning and think life is absolutely shit, right? It's the worst. Is it not your choice, right? You're the one that determines every single thing about your day, right? Because things are always going to happen external of you. Always. You can't control it. You can't stop it, no matter how much you try, right? You can try to put your head in the sand and it doesn't matter, right? Life will be life. The only thing we have control over is ourselves and controlling that, right? So that's a big component of what you learned this month, okay? If it has to do with your job, right? If it has to do with your job. So now let's talk about your job. So there's gossiping going on in your job, right? You turn around and, you're concentrating on maybe, let's say, a work relationship, right? A work relationship that went to shit, right? Because it went to shit. But you're so worried and you're so like hyper focused on that you keep talking about it. You keep bringing it up, right? It comes up in the form of gossip. It gets nowhere, right? When, again, there is this celebration that has to take place and you just right? You just don't see it yet, but you will see it, because you'll see that that's made to be like that. You understand? Okay, all this has to do with, because it has to do with this healing that has taken place for you. This Pandora's box that was open, shit that you had to deal with, right? That you weren't necessarily ready for, nor wanted to, right? It has here. It's like the Pandora box opens, and then everything that you thought is not, right? But this talks about the phoenix rising from the ashes, right? 16, 17. So that, and knowing that you have that within you, right? Knowing that that has to take place. In order for you to heal, things have to go kaboom, right? If not, we live in this illusion, in these lies, right? In things that are not real. And I don't know about you, but I'm sure you want real, yeah? So that's kind of it. And again, so if it's your job, then you go from, like, you know, being seen, wanting to be seen, being the superstar, to things like coming down, you having to defend maybe a project, right? But you've put so much time and effort into it, right? It talks about a creation outside of you, right? In your work environment, you wanting to possibly leave work, change jobs, but it's telling you to hold on. Just give it a second, right? Because there's something that has to come full circle. It talks about, like, you know, if this is work, like not letting your emotions like take over, right? And letting your emotions have you reacting irrationally, right? No, your strength. Show people that, right? Because you are. Find the wisdom, man. Sag, like, you can find the wisdom. Just dig deep. Dig deep. I'm not saying you want to. I'm saying you could, right? That's like a thing this month. All right. So for some of you, there's a woman, there's like luck. It's like luck is blocked, and it has to do with this woman. So anything that has to do with an actual woman, female, right, that you're waiting on for good news, it's almost like it's blocked this month, right? There's a delay, there's an obstacle, right? It's still there, but it just becomes difficult. There's some challenges. More effort has to be put in, right? But it's still luck. Just gotta work a little harder at it. But there's a woman that plays a vital role, okay? Yeah. Let me see. Okay. One more. All right, here we go. These cards are so pretty. They're the mystical wisdom. Unicorn. Invites serendipity. Okay, Poopy, edit this. Invite Wow. Okay, you're really gonna have to super freaking edit this. Invite serendipity. Invite serendipity. I don't know what that means. Let's look it up. Okay, you're gonna have to edit this. Unicorn. Let me see. Mysterious, playful, and pure. The unicorn is universally beautiful, mysterious, and difficult to capture or tame. It is fierce and protective, yet admirable. The unicorn is a symbol of serendipity, serendipity, the occurrence of events by chance in a happy or beneficial way. Okay. All right, baby. Okay, so unicorn. Basically, what it says is that there's something that happens by fate. It's good luck. It works out in your favor. It might have to do with like that clover here, right? So if this is blocked, it's saying the unicorn comes, picks you up, and takes you. So you get what you need, what you want, okay? Subscribe, like, comment. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Love you. See you next month. It's been a blast.